What's good, YouTube? We're back with another market watch. We've got quite a bit to go over. We're going to go over the new OP03 Ultimates. We're going to go over a few things that have gone down lately and I think are pretty much bottomed out if you want to buy them right now. I'm going to make a few more calls than I usually do, but they're going to be cheap. And I always urge my viewers to think for themselves if they're going to do something, so let's get into it. First is Dark Lord Ixchel, and she is the only 3 of that people all agree throughout the Dark Lord deck that you're playing as a 3 of out of the monster Dark Lords themselves, and she's the draw engine for the deck. Now, she's very good, and apparently short printed in the set. There's not many of her per case, and we see her sitting at 27 already. People quickly finding out how short print she is, and $30 over here on eBay. Now, will that stay? It depends on Dark Lord's tournament results, but my first submitted regional report this weekend was Dark Lord's, and it was the first place after playing out the top 8 at 100-man Australian regionals. A lot of people are like, well, it's an Australian regionals, I'd like to see it do it in the US. Playing through the entire top 8 means all those players are pretty, at least, decent to have gotten there. And you played 3 extra rounds against those people that you may have already played in Swiss that know your strategy now. I think it's a pretty solid showing of the start for how fast this deck came out and got that. Like, Cyframes didn't do that. And other failed decks that didn't really impose themselves on metas typically don't do that in their opening weekend. Hollow Swap Frog, the super, or not super, everybody thought I'd get a super dupe frog. The ultimate rare OTS is sitting at 50 already, the in-hand ones. So this is pretty odd to me, because it's so deck specific to Mermails and Frog Paleozoics and Frog Ice Barriers, but I can see it because you play 3 of these and everybody's wanted this forever. It took 9 years for us to get here to, common to ultimate, so I definitely see it. It looks amazing. It's really well done, but does it deserve it? I think it'll rest at 40 after more start hitting out every single week for a very long time. There will be more, and it's very specific to a few decks, so I think we will see it sit at 40. But for now, if you've got to get your hands on them, there's only 6 on market, so we see 3 here at about 50 a piece as well, so very interesting. And I don't know, 3 Swap Frog, Speedroid, and Ultimate Mint. Okay, so it's a lot. Terror Top is sitting at 50, so oddly enough, a couple dollars cheaper, but people are much more on the fence that this card might get hit on a ban list. The Zodiacs, Junichi Zodiacs, whatever you want to call them, are coming out soon-ish, but we typically see a ban list in January, but there's no set dates for them anymore. People are very scared that this card is such an enabler that it may get hit. My opinion is it could see the one treatment like Tour Guide, but I think if you're going to have them, you'll be able to trade them off still, but they'll lose a lot of value if it does get hit. That's why people are so cautious. That's why it's less than a specific card when this goes in so many decks. Phantom Knights, BAPK, we just saw it top in Dark Lords. It's an amazing engine card, but it's actually not topping that much either right now overall compared to the meta. Not played in decks like Blue Eyes, Dark Magicians, those kind of things, and it really is almost splashable into anything though. So does it deserve it right now? Yes. I think so. It's a 3 of in many different decks, unlike this where it's only a couple decks. And I think it's good where it is at until it gets hit. Or if it doesn't get hit, I think it'll skyrocket. It'll definitely be at least 60, maybe 70. I would say 200 a set if it doesn't get hit, because every Zodiac player is going to want it. Risk versus reward, it could drop 30, it could go up 20 or more. Really your call. I have no advice here. I wouldn't touch it personally. I would not want these for myself unless I was an avid player of a Phantom Knight deck, probably. Grand Pulse is at 20, and the lowest of the 3 ultimates. Despite the other ultimates being so high, I think this is too high actually for its own price. It's a 1 of in every extra deck that plays it. It's never more than a 1 of for the most part. And in this meta, I think it'll drop from down to 15, down to 12, down to 10, and then once it becomes a staple in some format, it'll jump back to 20. So when when it hits to 10, it's a decent investment. But other than that, it's just, I would say it's good where it is. And shoutouts to Jobber / Simply Unlucky for having the cheapest one. Jobber's the man. We are going to follow up on artifacts from last week. The ultra rares are lowest mint $4 over here. And that's pretty interesting to me, all things considered. Because the super rares are dollars. So this is kind of the highest rarity. It's the Sneak Peek Ultra Rare. I think it deserves it. It could even be $5. We see scythes being played in decks separately outside of the entire artifact engine sometimes because it's the one that shuts off the extras. And it's a great kind of card because they're always going to hit that second back row with Twin Twisters if they haven't seen an artifact. And it also just gives that risk factor of, well, are you going to hit my extra cards so you can keep them? Definitely a pretty good card. And I would say the highest rarity deserves it. And we see it actually at $3, then $3.88, and then catching up on a moderate play at $4. So, it would be really quick to buy it out, though. This guy has 12 sold. Let's actually see how many copies. 2 available, yep. So, it looks like it could sell out pretty fast, back up to 4, and then 5 on eBay. Let's see how quick on TCG Player. 4, 4, 4, 1 of 9 though, and 1 of 5. So it wouldn't be a quick sellout to go up to 5. And if you're buying them out for that purpose, your margins will be so bad that there's no point. But if you have them now, enjoy them. They're definitely worth, and they're definitely a kind of surprise kind of thing. Because people might destroy them if you seem confident and they smell a Mirror Force and then get scythed. So I'm going to talk about the ABC deck here. And honestly, it was all sitting at about 250, so like a playset of this was 750, and we see the trend downward here, and it's honestly quite it looks like a bunch of them got new structure decks in, even though it's not, you know, a reprint of the set, but every single one's down, and the deck's not being less represented. I think it's more so everybody who clamored to get them got theirs. So all these went down from 250 to like 150, and this means you can get this entire deck, and 130 over here too. You can get this entire deck like core by not buying the structure decks for about 26. So you're better off if you can find 3 structures at 10 apiece. But what vendors get to do is they get this for, I would say, about $6 to resell, because they have overhead, they have needs, you know, and you're not getting it at that cost unless you're buying full cases. So it definitely, if you are a consumer and you don't want the extra, all the rest of those cards, and you want to save a couple bucks, this is one way to buy it. But if you can find the structure decks, you could just sell the extra cards as bulk, and there are some pretty good commons, I think, if I recall, like at least decent ones. So I would still find the structure decks, but if you're in a rush, this is one way to buy it. And if you're just all the structures got bought out in your area because a lot of people complained about it, well, now would be your time. Don't get the gadgets yet. Again, they're coming out gold rare soon. I would wait for that. The gold rare will make both versions cheaper for a while, and you can get the rarity you want. You can go super cheap with gold as it releases, or you can wait for the ultras to dwindle down. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So it was brought to my attention, this is back to 40. It had, I think, gone down to 32 according to some of my friends. We see it slowly trending downward. Doesn't really look like it's moved much, but it's slowly trended downward. Back up to its full price, I'm assuming, because people are trying out Zulk and Metal Foes, but I could be wrong. There could be other reasons for this. But the next is 45 on eBay. 193 sold. How did this man's get 193 of this card, let alone sell them? 190, that has to be like a typo, right, by eBay? Or this man's just the man. Let's look at his rating real quick. Yeah, 7040 rating, GameStop Play 111. So maybe he legitly sold that many. That's insane to me. I love finding out random things like this when I do Market Watch. Sorry to get caught up in it, boys. And then here's an investment call for me. Bahamut Shark is at about 225 now. We had seen it spike back up. Look at this graph. It's in the red. It's going down. I think $2 is its bottom out price. Again, it's a lot like Swap Frog, only played in a very few niche decks. Heroes, Paleozoic Frogs don't even need him. But ABC, we've been seeing people try to fit in 10-plated Goldfish, use Instant Fusion Norden. People are definitely trying to use this in other decks, and I think there will be other decks that will enable him in the future to enable Totally Awesome. So I would go ahead, if you've been looking for this card, offer somebody $2, get it, save your quarter online, or if you don't have awesome people around you, go ahead and pick it up now. I don't think it'll bottom out much more. At worst, what, $1.50, $1, like, but if you've been waiting to get yours, the secrets are a lot. They're like 14. So again, when I get there's a huge quantity of these, but definitely the cheapest version. We see it $240, $250 on eBay as well. So a little bit cheaper on TCG right now, saving some pennies. And here's my final investment call. CAIRing Gorgon has seen an increase in play lately because of ABC. Basically, it turns the Buster into whatever you want it to be. So I would think about investing in the original Supers right now because they're under $1. And this card has been a $6 to $7 card before its common reprint. I realize there's infinite of the common, but people like their holo cards. So 86 cents seems pretty darn cheap to me for a highest rarity first ed edition of a card, or 90 cents, whatever. And I'm sure they're on eBay too, but of course they're trying this means these vendors are paying for the stamp 40 whatever cents and envelope, etc. They're only taking 40 cents. So maybe you could go to your local card shop and be like, hey, these are these online. Would you just take 50 cents? I'd like to buy all of yours. And they might just say yeah, because they're saving on shipping and fees and doing something with a local customer. So definitely something to consider. I don't know about the mega packs, but the first ed wouldn't be the worst. It could go nowhere. This is just me thinking aloud to you guys. It could go nowhere at all, but people really do like their highest rarities, and first ed Prio for under $1 when it has been a $6 to $8 card seems pretty good. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about me talking more about things that you can go ahead and get now, like the Bahamut and ABC things, and talking about crashes rather than price hype, price rises. Do you think it was too early for me to talk about the OP Ultimates? I think they've been on the market about a weekish now. I just saw somebody open like 300 packs on Zodiac or something insane. Definitely, they will be hitting the market more and more as we come. So this is kind of the first look. I typically don't try to do early looks, but I did wait a little bit. So it's interesting to see where the prices already are and call where they'll fall. Like I said, I think Terror Top deserves it. I think Swap Frog will hit 40, but it could stay just out of the fan favoriteness that we waited 9 years. And then that about wraps up this market watch. The Artifact Ultra Rare being $4 versus the Supers being $1. All this was pretty budget today. What do you think about that too? I know people have yelled, don't tell me about the hollowed version, John, but here's a hollowed version for less than $1. And here's the ABC bases, and talking about the new Dark Lord, a bit early as well, but it started out lower and it's trending upwards right now. And I thought the information that it's short printed would be pretty good. So let me know if you'd like to hear me more open think like this, because a lot of people have told me go ahead, and some people have been concerned about it. So, but again, at the end of the day, it's my channel. I'll make my decisions. I don't plan to do this super often. I plan to report more, but there's not too much going on besides price declines right now for the most part. So I thought I would share some of the declines with you and say my thoughts about where things deserve to be and what I think they'll end up being. But again, it's opinion-based. I teach my fan base to always think for themselves, always do what they think is best, and I hope you enjoyed this market watch. Thanks for watching, guys.